How's it going, guys? Before we jump into the video, I want to give a special shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Conflict of Nations. Conflict of Nations is a free online PvP strategy game where you get to choose a real country and lead in modern global warfare. You can fight up to 128 other players in real-time games that can take weeks to complete. You can use many different units to build your army, like tanks, jets, and even nuclear submarines. In a world of quick, fast-paced games, I love the fact that Conflict of Nations games last a long time. And you can play on the same account for both PC and mobile. Click the link in the description to get 13,000 gold and a 1-month premium subscription for free. The offer is only available for 30 days, so don't miss out. How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to show you exactly what it's like to drive the Camaro Zl1 1Le and then put it head-to-head against the Shelby Gt500. First, we're gonna take out the Zl1 1Le for a spin and then hop into the Mustang. So as many of you know, the Zl1 is the ultimate performance version of the Camaro, and then the 1Le takes things to a whole nother level. We've got aero elements for more downforce, this massive rear wing. We've also got lighter wheels, lighter suspension. We've got a multimatic coilover suspension as opposed to MagneRide, so it's better on the track, but it's a lot firmer on the road. Crazy splitter and dive planes in the front, and then this nice exposed carbon fiber hood. It's down 60 pounds over the standard Zl1. We even have a thinner rear glass to save a bit of weight. Now, I will say the interior of this car compared to the Gt500 is a lot nicer. We'll go ahead and fire it up. Start stop button right there. The infotainment screen, the graphics are a lot better on this Camaro versus the Gt500. The steering wheel is really nice, the seats are a bit more comfortable, and we even have cooled seats. The climate control area feels so much more premium than the Ford. But what you care about is what it's actually like to drive. Let's take this thing for a spin. Behind the wheel of the Zl1 1Le now, we're gonna change it into track mode. So we've got a mode selector right here. Right now we're in touring, I believe. We can switch to sport or track. Now, it doesn't actually change the suspension setup at all because we've got coilovers, not MagneRide, but it does change the steering feel, shift times, etc. We'll go ahead and put it into manual mode, and let's floor this thing. Woo! So, 6.2 liter supercharged V8, making 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. This thing is an absolute beast. Oh my gosh. You can hear the supercharger whine quite a bit more than you can in the Gt500. And because this car has that multimatic suspension and not the MagneRide, it rides a lot firmer. You can feel every bump in the road. On the track, it's about as good as it gets for suspension. Out here on the road, it's a bit much, but you're certainly not going to feel like you don't have enough driver involvement because this car is absolutely crazy. The brakes are phenomenal. Now, neither car has carbon ceramics. They're 6-piston front brakes, but they still stop the car so well time and time again. Now, I've noticed the Zl1 1Le has a little bit more of a generous traction control than the Shelby Gt500. It lets you slide out a bit more. So the car feels a bit more all over the road than the Shelby, which can be a bit scary in a 650 horsepower car. You definitely need to pay more attention when driving this as compared to the Gt500. Woo! But oh my gosh, is this thing epic. Now, the Zl1 1Le comes with 2 transmission options. A 6-speed manual, which is fantastic. The fact that you can get a 6-speed manual in this car is amazing. And one of the reasons why you might want to buy it over a Gt500, because the Gt500 does not have a manual transmission option. I will say though, the 10-speed automatic on this car compared to the Gt500 7-speed dual clutch is not in the same league. The shifts do not feel as crisp. The downshifts don't feel as fun and lively. It's still a good transmission. It still shifts very fast, but it's not quite as epic as the Fords. Visibility out of this thing is also significantly worse than the GT500. It's not like you're buying this for visibility, but just something to note. All right, I'll shut up, let you listen to this, and then we'll hop in the Shelby. All right, hopping in the GT500 now. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Now, I will say, while it immediately is apparent that the interior of the GT500 from this portion forwards isn't as nice as the Camaro, I do really like the digital instrument cluster. So if we go ahead and change the driving mode, this is kind of the normal layout, to track mode, I think it is just such a cool design to get to see the horizontal tachometer right there. I also like the seats a little bit better in the GT500. Both Recaros, but these hold you in place a little bit better. They don't have cooled seat functionality, which I wish they did. They don't have heated seat functionality either, but just some small interior differences. Neither of them have that awesome of an interior, to be honest. But when you remember that these cars cost under $80,000 as their base price and have lap times as fast, and in some cases faster, than supercars, it is pretty damn impressive. For reference, this car is faster than a 488 GTB and a Huracan Evo around VIR, and the 1LE is faster than the 488 around VIR. $300,000 plus Ferrari, and you're faster in a Camaro, which is pretty insane. All right, let's do a little launch control, shall we, in the Shelby? So the Shelby has a 5.2 liter supercharged V8, 760 horsepower, so 110 horsepower more, and 650 pound-feet of torque. No manual option, which is a bit of a bummer, but this 7-speed dual clutch is amazing. I'll let you listen to it for a second. This thing absolutely rips. You don't get as much supercharger noise as you do in the Camaro, but man, does this thing sound good. It's a lot louder from the factory too than the Zl1. Driving wise, you just feel so much more confidence in the Shelby. The traction control lets you slip a little bit less, which in my opinion, in a 760 horsepower car is a good thing. You don't want to be able to spin this car like a top unless you purposely turn off traction control. The levels of grip in this thing though are absolutely insane. A Mustang shouldn't be able to drive like this. Brakes are unbelievable. Neither of these cars have carbon ceramics as options, but the 6-piston brakes, both massive on both cars, slow them down so damn well. Now, one of the biggest differences between this car and the Camaro is the suspension. Because we have MagneRide suspension in the GT500, we can go ahead and flick this car back into normal mode, and all of a sudden, it rides somewhat civilized. You could actually drive this on a daily basis. Whereas in the Camaro, it doesn't have any sort of active suspension. You can't change the settings on the fly like that, and it is really, really jarring. So if you're gonna daily a car or drive it more often than once a week, for the most part, I would say go with the GT500. It's more compliant on the road and it's more usable. It also is a more friendly car to drive. The Zl1 1Le is a serious weapon, but it's a little bit harder to get used to and feel confident behind the driver's seat. Another thing I love about the GT500 is you can actually pull both paddles at the same time, like in a supercar, like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Porsche PDK, to put it into neutral and give it a little rev. Which, with a car that sounds this good, I actually kind of like that. What's the actual point of that? I have no freaking idea, but other than revving occasionally with ease. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put it back into track mode. This car is just too good. If you want something that's actually dailyable, the Gt500 is the way to go. And honestly, on the track, this car feels more confidence-inspiring as well, and is a little bit faster than the Zl1 1Le in comparable situations. The Zl1 though, if you need a manual transmission, if you want a manual transmission car, it honestly is the only option, which is a huge advantage over this car. I wish that Ford actually put a manual transmission in this car. I understand it's gonna get slower lap times, but it would be a bit more fun. Well, there you guys have it. Overall, I'm picking the Gt500 over the Zl1 1Le. I will say the Zl1 looks better, both on the outside and the inside, but victory goes to the Ford. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video. Once again, special thanks to Conflict of Nations for sponsoring today's video. Get an exclusive gift by clicking the link in the description below to get 13,000 gold and a 1-month premium subscription for free. Offer is only available for 30 days, so don't miss out. Seriously guys, this game rocks.